There's a little garage on a small town street. I like to meet my friends there every week, and I know we'll talk about some facts and things, history and science and some crazy shit. Talking it out with Alan, Ben, and Nick, and I know that it's gonna be a weird-ass show. Ooh, insanity abounds. Ooh, the world is spinning round. Now we're gonna break it down.
Why all kittens should die in a fire.
All cats, too.
No. You leave the cats so that they can lament the loss of their young.
I don't think cats care that much.
Nor do I. That's kind of the point.
They kill things for pleasure.
So do rich white dentists.
Right, which means they have more in common with us than we think. We should get rid of them.
Before they usurp us. See? Rich topic.
Actually, when you get down to it, I would be willing to say that most cat owners are nothing more but slaves to that thing.
Oh, 9 times out of 10. Dude, a dog will wait like a week before it eats your dead body with no other food around. A cat waits like 45 minutes. Cat's
and
like,
even
I'm
if there's other
hungry
food
now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I ain't
They
eating that
start with your
prepackaged crap.
face.
I got fresh meat here, damn it.
Yep.
They start
exactly.
with your face.
Yeah, they don't even like eat a finger or something. Like they start with your face. The
Well,
thing that you put right next to theirs and talk at them with all the time.
Well, see, that's the little bit that
Probably
shows
why
they
they
care.
hate
They got to get rid of your face as quickly as possible so they don't have to look at it while they're eating you.
Scientists are pretty much in agreement that the common house cat, if it was much larger, would consider us prey.
Well, yeah, it probably has the same brain thoughts as the larger cats of prey. It is a cat of prey.
Oh, I'm sure the cats they actually
Tell
descend
me,
from
what
probably
kind
thought
of
us-
brain thoughts do you have? as opposed to bicep thoughts?
I guess.
What
I
about
don't
what
keep any
about what about
bicep
spinal
thoughts.
thoughts?
I used to have those, but
Is
then I took
this
acid.
Spinal Tap?
Turns it up to 11. But don't amps only go to 10? No. See, I wrote 11 on it.
Oh no! This one was custom made and it goes to 11.
Is that what it is?
Well,
It's
couldn't
been
you
so
just
many
make
years.
10 louder? But this one
but
goes to 11.
Yeah. It's been so many years since I've seen This Is Spinal Tap.
Isn't there a sequel?
I believe they did a This Is Spinal Tap 2. I mean, as far as documentaries about a fake band goes, it's pretty awesome.
They've
I
had
just
2
need to get a copy
drummers
of it.
spontaneously combust and another choke on vomit. The band was convinced it was not his vomit.
It was just
God.
That is my favorite line from Spinal Tap. You know, Scotland Yard doesn't have like a vomit print kit, you know. The best parts of that movie are when they're interacting with the people who have no idea it's fake.
Right. Which, yeah, honestly gave the best footage because it was real reaction.
I wish they had gone to a real military base, though, instead of getting that Canadian actor. I've seen him in a million fucking things, but I have no idea what the fuck his name is.
I hardly remember American actors' names.
Why Canadian movies can always be spotted? They're
Because of
like
these
American
3 actors.
movies, but with everything being exactly 1 degree less impressive.
And they use the same, like, half a dozen actors. They're just in everything. It's the only 6 actors Canada's produced. And they put them in everything.
You just see the stuff from those 6 actors, because those were the ones where it's like, oh, the Americans like them, eh?
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, as far as that goes, Rick Moranis, John Candy, if it weren't for the Great White North, we wouldn't have those bastards.
Rick Moranis is Canadian?
Yes,
Yep.
yes, he is.
Yep.
Him and John Candy actually got the start in the same variety show.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. I forget what it's called, but no, it was real big in Canada in the 80s. It actually
it's
got
the one
played in the
South
U.S.
Park makes fun of about Terrence and Phillip starting on.
Yes,
It's
yes,
that
yes.
one. I forget what its name is, but yeah, South Park makes fun of it.
Yeah, no,
for
that's
Terrence and
the
Phillip.
loose spoof they're doing, but yeah. Yeah, no, they're I believe Eugene Levy is in that same club.
Really?
See, that's one of those things that bothers me. 'Cause, like, Eugene Levy has an incredibly, like, industrious and impressive career, and all anyone in the U.S. fucking remembers him for is American Pie. He has been in so many other good movies. He co-starred alongside Sam Jackson.
In what?
I don't remember the name of the movie, but it was, oh, God. You know what? IMDb it. Google it. Google it, Google it, Google it. You have magic internet box.
Star Trek versus Star Wars tech-wise. Who wins?
That's gonna be
We've
really
got
hard
to do
on
a Star Trek versus Star
him and
Wars,
I.
but
You've told me. I know how the math breaks down, but in my heart of hearts, I'm just saying, I think the Death Star is gonna take out the Enterprise. That's all I'm saying, man. That's all I'm saying. The temporal Cold War was launched by leveling Florida. We'll blow your planet up.
Well-
Dockside, motherfucker.
and I'm sorry, when we're talking space tech, we must also remember series like Battlestar Galactica and some of the others.
Firefly.
I mean, Vipers. The Viper fighters could take an X-wing down no
See,
problem.
that's
Those things
actually
were
really fun.
beasts.
That's actually really fun for me because I've just started watching the new Battlestar Galactica.
Oh,
I've never seen the
Yeah.
original.
It. Okay. All right. That shut me up.
We just broke Bill. Ben, you want to check
For
on
what
him?
it's worth, the original is excellent. The new one, the biggest complaint I have is it feels like it drags on for the first 4 seasons, and then it gets good and it ends.
There's only 4 seasons of that
I
show.
thought they were 5 seasons. Okay, that is the first 3. Either way, the last season is the only one that really
I'm actually
good.
really
Yeah,
enjoying it.
that's an unusual opinion.
Like,
most people I hear say they like the thing overall, but actually the biggest complaint I hear, and I have this complaint as well, I told you, is the actual ending. The literal ending of the show just
Oh yeah, it
flat.
feels half-assed.
yeah. Well, because they didn't know where they were going with it. There's that big twist in the middle,
Damn it, I'm a
Yeah.
Cylon.
and
They
when
kind
they
of
did that,
they got
they
ahead
didn't know where they were going.
of their plan. They got it's like they sat down and they wrote a story up to a certain point, and then they started filming it and realized that it took a whole lot less time than they had planned.
Well,
and then went, shit, we're contracted to do another 2 seasons of this. What do we do now?
Well, no, they've actually said what they did is, and I can't be too specific about it because he hasn't seen it. But there's
yeah.
a big twist in the middle, where something happens, and they basically at that point it was them dropping their original plan, and they just kind of came up with that twist on the fly, but they never really planned it out from there, and just kind
Yeah.
of ran with it. And just built it up and built it up and built it up and didn't have anywhere to go with it by the end. So it was just all this rise and then really, really weak payoff, if you even want to call it that. But other than that, that show
Kind
to
of
me
like the
is
last
really
episode
solid.
of Firefly.
A little bit, except the last episode of Firefly was
It leaves you hungry.
Yeah.
because they thought they were getting more.
Well, yeah. I mean,
Well, no,
And then it
Fox
got
canceled them.
canceled.
Fox canceled them halfway through their run. They were originally commissioned for 26. That's why it ends that way.
Well, right, because they were expecting to do more when they got canceled. And actually,
Yeah, I mean,
I've
that's
heard
the
if
biggest
you pick
problem
up
with
the box
Firefly
set,
is that
you
there
get
wasn't more
the
Firefly.
other 4 or 6 episodes or whatever
Take my
that were
land,
never aired.
Take my seat. You can't take the
Serenity's
sky
pretty good,
from
though.
me.
the movie.
Yeah.
The movie's good.
Yeah.
I like the
it-
dude with the sword.
It hurts me when Wash dies.
It's
Oh,
supposed to.
you know the guy who's the villain in that movie, Serenity. He's going to be Scar in the new Lion King.
Real James Earl Jones ain't up to it?
No, that's Mufasa.
Oh shit, you're right. You're right. Who the fuck did him the first time?
Jeremy Irons.
It still
Shit, was it?
bothers me
Yeah,
that they're
Jeremy
just
Irons,
remaking
including part of the
live-action
singing bit. He
versions
didn't do
of
all the
of
singing,
our
but he did do part of it.
cartoons.
Yeah.
They're doing an Aladdin too.
They're pretty much doing all of them.
Yeah, they're redoing all of the original run because they've run out of ideas, so they're just remining.
I have such an issue with that from an artistic standpoint.
Yeah.
I do too, and it hurts.
It's the same reason I won't see the new Deadpool. I don't like the idea of recutting a movie. I don't care how you frame it.
Wait, what?
There's a new Deadpool in theaters right now.
The Christmas one, right?
It's a recut of Deadpool 2, basically
Right,
framed the
that's
same way as The
PG-13,
Princess Bride.
Right.
Yeah,
No, I heard about that. I'm not bothering to see it because I already know the story. It's Deadpool 2. I have the real one. I don't need to see the ripoff.
I just don't like the precedent that sets for the art world about remaking your shit. Like, we had this fight with George Lucas. Do we really need to have it again?
Well, Disney's never been shy about remaking their own shit.
You know, I'm really hoping somewhere in that contract. I know, like, there was shit about Lucas said he didn't want the originals released in their theatrical cut. There's got to be some expiration on that clause.
Oh yeah. When he dies, I'm sure they'll work something out with it. But I mean, that is why it's so hard to find a copy of the original.
Khan shoots first, last, and only. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
The man
There's
simply
only one
knew the
blaster
danger
shot.
he was in.
Well, we're on the subject of endings. Have you seen Enterprise?
No. I've
All right.
watched part
I know
of
you have.
an
I
episode.
love Enterprise.
Have you seen the last episode?
I have seen the last episode. I didn't know it was the last episode when I saw it, though.
Yeah. Because he'll tell you.
It's
I
another one that leaves you
loathe-
expecting more.
I utterly loathe that.
Okay,
it's
so-
the Indiana Jones 4 of Star Trek.
The
that
way it's
sucks.
been,
I never got into Indiana Jones,
See,
any of them.
the way it got explained to me, basically, is that with the ending of Enterprise, it's this whole Hollow Suite episode where it's framed inside an episode of Enterprise.
Next Generation.
Or sorry, Next Generation.
It's
I'm
Riker
sorry.
and Troy on a holodeck, watching the events of something that played out on the Enterprise in the past.
Oh, so the last episode is a break the illusion we've been watching this on a
All right,
screen the
not
whole
only
time.
that, but it's supposed to take place during an actual episode of Next Generation on the Pegasus, where they find that old ship of Riker's that has like the cloaking phase ability.
Oh, right.
It's supposed to take place in
I don't
there.
remember that episode.
I remember the episode
Yeah.
vaguely, but I've been watching Next Generation.
I've only
over
watched
again.
through Next Generation once, and technically I haven't finished that. There's like 3 episodes left.
It is worth watching
The
through again.
last one I
There's a
remember
lot of
watching
good. There's
was
a lot of
the
rough and
episode with
awful, but there's a
Alexander
lot of good.
embracing his Klingon heritage.
Yeah.
Oh, as a kid or as an adult?
As a kid, they
All right.
take him to that festival. He's all like, "I want to be a Klingon now."
Oh yeah. No, but yeah, and the Enterprise episode, not only does the stuff that happens in the show just kind of suck on multiple levels, including the character death, which is totally forced, but it also it shits all over the canon.
Well, I'm trying to remember which is the series with 7 and 9.
That's Voyager.
That's Voyager.
Voyager. Okay, and that
Yeah.
happens afterwards, right?
Voyager's technically
After
the
Next
latest thing we've
Generation.
seen, isn't it?
No, the Star Trek Nemesis, and I want to say Insurrection.
I'm not
both.
talking movies. I'm
Series.
talking.
Well, I mean, in the canon, I'm talking about overall canon. Are the latest
Right.
things? Story-wise, show-wise, yes, Voyager is the one that takes place the latest. Pretty
O.J.
sure.
Simpson is my favorite murderer, football player, and actor.
Because he did all 3.
He's a triple threat. Especially if you're a Jewish waiter or a blonde white woman.
Oh,
Ouch.
I like to believe he ended them quick. They didn't suffer.
Suffering is more of a state of mind. They may not have physically suffered, but do you know how hot those flames are in the hell they now reside in because of him?
No.
Well, let me tell you, son. That's
875 degrees Fahrenheit.
Thought it was
0.5.
452.
Congratulations.
Fuck.
You asked.
I never actually read the book or saw the movie, but I know it's the degrees that books burn at.
or
because
supposedly.
that's the whole.
I don't know if it's actually the
supposedly.
degree.
Well,
But
that's what
that's
the
what
whole
the title
story
is,
was
yeah.
about. Was about a
World where you
society
burn books,
that
yeah.
burned books
Yeah.
because
I
they
have
were
seen the
declared
movie.
to be
At
blasphemous.
least part of it. I don't remember a whole lot
I may
of
have
it.
seen the movie back in high school, but I don't remember any of it.
I
All
remember
I
scenes
remember
of
is
them,
that
like,
it had to do
going
with burning
to
books.
burning books.
And the firefighters were people who lit fires rather than put them out.
Well, they were called firemen.
firemen.
But yeah, the
And they
firemen
went and they
and
burned the books instead of being
putting them out.
Well,
Yeah.
For the record, the term fireman in the rail industry is actually referred to an individual who had to keep a fire burning in the caboose for the lanterns.
Yeah, multiple meanings. Or okay. I was thinking of a movie, but I'm pretty sure they used the term firefighter in that movie. But is it a John Wayne movie called Hellfighters? He basically plays a guy who leads a crew of dudes who put out oil well fires for a living.
Yeah.
Good movie. All right. If Bill is the new canon, Ben is Legends, that makes you the holiday special.
Woo! Fresh Prince Boba Fett, y'all!
Would that make you the Ewok series? We're the Ewoks.
Even worse.
With friendship.
Droids.
Oh, God.
Droids.
Oh, droids. I haven't seen any of that.
There's a reason for that.
Fair enough.
You know what that makes me?
Super quickly.
Oh, they both did, but like the Ewok thing was aimed at young children on purpose. Droids was supposed to be like more of a general audience thing, and it's just fucking terrible.
No, you know what?
Is that a newer one?
No, these are both from the 80s.
Okay.
You know what that makes me though? That other like animated movie George Lucas did that's basically Star Wars in the Woods.
It's the inverse of what Game of Thrones is actually called. It's either a Song of Ice and Fire or a Song of Fire and Ice. I've seen it.
Yeah,
I've seen it. Yeah, the entire thing's
that's
rotoscoped.
Rotoscope?
It's considered a form of animation, but you actually film real people. Like anytime someone's moving, that is them moving through a set that is designed to simulate the depth. Or like if they're climbing stairs, it'll be stair. And then someone paints over the entire thing.
Kind of like what they did with the Beowulf movie, where they filmed actors acting it out, and then they CGI'd over it.
You could kind of, sort of equivalent it to motion cap animation, but rotoscoping is quite a bit different.
Well, it's more artistic, for one thing.
Well, part of rotoscoping, too, is it's a specialized camera, and the way it actually records is it's not like a picture image that we would see. It's like all the resolutions and everything are tweaked. So, like, when they're drawing out the lines, like, on a person's face in a rotoscoped film, that's because that's pretty much what the image captured. There's not a whole lot of playing with it. It's largely tweaking color at that point.
One of the movies,
A Waking Life is entirely
yeah,
rotoscoped.
I was gonna say A Waking Life. There's two of them.
And A Scanner
Waking
Darkly.
Life and, yeah,
both
the two
of those
them
are
I have.
rotoscoped.
Okay, those are rotoscoped. That makes sense. Yeah, where you film something and then you do the art over top and then remove the film from underneath, so it's just the artwork following what was there.
Wikipedia says rotoscoping is an animation technique that animators use to trace over motion picture footage frame by frame to produce realistic action. Originally, animators projected photographed live-action movie images onto a glass panel and traced over the image.
That's cool. Drawing on glass.
Yeah.
It's a cool process.
Another really good rotoscope movie. Well, part of it's rotoscoped. Heavy Metal. Even though I like the sequel better, even though the sequel is objectively a terrible movie.
The movie that South Park was making fun of with the
with the tits episode.
Yeah,
yes.
Okay.
Yes, that is the first Heavy Metal.
I thought it was.
It was a really awesome magazine in the 80s and a really weird movie. And then there's a sequel from
weird,
like the 2000s
awesome.
with Michael Ironside doing the voice of the
two are not mutually exclusive.
It's worth a watch. It's weird. The first movie is basically the story of this cosmic evil as it travels throughout existence, like this timeless, endless being. And sorry if this fucks this up for anyone, but old movie, fuck you. You've had plenty of time to watch it. The ending, the whole thing comes full circle from this little girl that the entity's terrifying as a framing device to this badass warrior chick finally destroying it. Female armor on a bird monster.
At least she got her revenge for the child rape.
It never. It's a
Brain
green,
rape.
It's a glowing green ball. It's the weirdest fucking
It's brain
thing.
rape. It's inserting horrific things into her mind. That's brain rape. And she gets her revenge.
You know, yeah, because it's just like, let me show you my legacy.
Which allows that South Park episode where they talk about the fourth Indiana Jones movie makes sense.
They raped Indy. They raped him.
Oh my God. Okay, so I don't know if you guys heard. You probably did with your random news stuff. They're banning, quote unquote, a couple of Christmas songs from regular play this year because they're socially offensive.
Because they're religious songs?
No.
Shit
No.
like Baby It's Cold Outside, even though the way it was originally
The date
written,
rape
the
song?
genders are swapped.
Yeah, they're calling it a date rape song because when you actually start listening to the lyrics, it's easy to twist them around.
The line about
and
what's in this drink is supposed to be, this isn't strong enough for me to say I was too drunk to drive. How are we going to explain to people that I spent the night here?
Yeah.
It's the 1950s.
No, if I may, the origin of that line was not that there was alcohol in it. It was, you didn't put enough alcohol in this. Ugh, what's in this drink?
Because they're trying to find an excuse.
Because they're trying to find an excuse for her to stay. It's all
Yeah.
It's all playful wordplay around
And
a
the-
couple wanting to stay together, but
The way it-
what will my parents say? And
the
things
way
like
it was
that.
originally written and performed, the genders are swapped from what the more famous versions
Yeah, no,
are.
it's not the man convincing the woman to
I
stay.
wanna
It's
say,
the
I
woman
want to say it was
convincing the man
either
to
Lady
stay.
Gaga or Gwen Stefani, one of the two. Just earlier this year, did a
Reverse
version of it where it is as it was originally intended.
Yeah.
It's not very good.
Well, you did say
Lady
it
Gaga
was-
and Gwen Stefani.
Yeah. But,
Well, I don't remember who the
that's
dude
one of
was.
them.
Like,
The other one
I mean, I don't remember who the chick was either. but
is a movie. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer is being banned across a bunch of the TV channels.
For what reason?
Because there's too much bullying at the beginning.
Are you shitting me?
I believe it actually.
Yes.
A
A story
That's-
about overcoming bullying to better yourself is being banned because of too much bullying.
A significant portion of my childhood just died. Oh my God.
Welcome to true adulthood. Now you understand why old people are angry all the time.
Dude, I've understood that for a while.
I assume it's because they don't poop so good no more.
See, now in light of this, I have to say the next one I hope to be banned is Frosty the Snowman. It is clearly a song about demonic possession as children take a dead man's hat and put it upon a creature made of snow, a golem, if you will, and they sing and dance around
You are
it.
doing a bit from something.
No, this is me
All right, as soon as you started,
shitting on everything
Okay.
since Crystal has told me.
All
I've
right.
come up with this
the
myself.
problem is the minute you started referring to it as a golem, now it's anti-Semitic.
Yeah.
I thought that was just
A golem is a Jewish thing.
Yeah, it's...
Well, then I'll find some other term for this.
Correct me
but
if I'm wrong on this, but literally translated out of Hebrew, doesn't it mean guardian?
I believe
I'm not sure what the
could
exact
be.
translation is.
Shall we use a homunculi then? It is a false human.
Just refer to it as an entity. That's about
okay.
as generic as you can get.
It is a
El Diablo muerte.
It is a summoned demon put into a form of snow, where it then proceeds to not only lead the children, but go on a bloody rampage through town, thumpity thump thump thumpity thump thump as it kills everyone. The police are chasing it, and it is only by the next day's light, which is very religiously significant in just about every religion. Sunrise is a time of magic being washed clear of the earth and of re-beginnings. It's a standard in demonic possession and summonings and things like that in any of the Wicca religions that go that far into stuff.
I get the feeling we're going to get down some really weird rabbit holes.
Oh, probably.
Oh, yeah.
This is us.
Us talking for hours and hours and hours on end. Oh, yeah.
But, yeah, no.
Informed and confused. Subtitle, this is going to get weird.
If you want to twist something, you can. And that's the point I'm making with the Frosty thing.
Yeah,
Is I can take the basic Frosty song and tell you about how it's a story of a demonic entity
I vote the group
possessing a
safe word
snowman
should be rutabaga.
and killing everyone. That being said, no, it was a song written in the 50s about snowmen and magic. There's nothing sinister about it.
He'll ask if we're married, and we'll say no, man, because we're children.
Right. Well,
All right.
I was.
This could be a broader topic, just the way our society is now, where literally anybody can find something offensive out of anything if they try hard enough.
I think what you're really getting at is postmodernism, which is us just picking apart the corpse of our past.
Yep.
Well, not just past stuff, present as well. But
Well, that's the
problem
problem of
Anything new,
postmodern.
too.
Well,
That's
the
the problem of a
problem there
postmodern
is-
society. As soon as it exists, it's fair game.
Well, and the problem with that is that we're not actually making anything new. We're only rehashing the old stuff. And when you start doing that, well, of course we're going to start picking it apart because it's no longer relevant. And so much of it is racist nowadays.
You know, I
So
would
much
say,
that was just commonplace and normal living, and this is just the way we talk to each other. Nowadays would be seen as horribly offensive. It's the way society changes. We shouldn't be judging what's happening now based on the things we made up 50 years ago. But we are, because we can't think of anything new.
I would like to say, I know a lot of people didn't care for this movie, but I felt Looper was pretty original, and I actually liked that movie.
yeah, but
No, that was Jumper. That was good too, though. That was good too.
I like that. I never saw Looper, but I did see Jumper. Jumper is good.
I liked Looper. A lot of people, like, most of the complaints I've heard are about, like, the makeup effects. But as far as actual story, dude's a future hitman for the mob. Well, he's a present hitman for the mob, but the mob uses time travel to kill people now. You send someone back to the designated coordinates the second they pop into existence. You hit them with a shotgun. There's gold bars taped to their body when they send them back. That is your payment. Eventually, the reason they're called loopers, eventually these hitmen have to be liquidated and you close your own loop. Eventually, they send you back. And there's always a bag over the head, and anyone who's halfway decent at their job ain't going to go peeking because of the ramifications of this. But you get I believe it's a triple payday when you do yourself, and that's when your contract is up. That's when you no longer have to kill for them, but you then know what age you're going to be when you die. And Looper is about a guy functionally breaking the loop.
And not killing himself?
His future self comes back and basically busts free, which happens occasionally. There's a really great part at the beginning where one dude, once he realizes what's up, cannot off himself, so he lets him go. Well, you can't have two of yourself running around the time stream. They will find out. So what do they do at that point? They send back someone who has the information. They tell you to pick up the young version of the guy. They started cutting instructions into the dude as to where to go. And if he didn't get there in time, they started doing things like cutting off fingers. So to the old man, that's a well-healed wound. But 3 seconds ago, he had a fucking hand. Oh, yeah, no, and you watch these guys just get slowly torn apart. I recommend the movie. A lot of people complained about it. I feel a lot of the complaints aren't founded in the story. Yes,
let's
there's
face it, we
the
all-
issues that every
every-
time travel movie has.
I will point out, everyone around this table loves old effects.
This was like 2012.
Well, but if the only complaints are, oh, the effects are bad, we've all dealt with worse.
I forget the name of the guy playing the young version of him, but the old man of the Looper is Bruce Willis, and they put prosthetics on the guy to try and make him look like a young Bruce Willis.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
It
Instead
works.
of better
It works
casting.
better in some scenes than others.
But still, I mean,
That
having
movie
watched
was
as many
directed by
80s and
Ryan
90s
Johnson, right?
movies
Same
as
guy who
we
did Last
have,
Jedi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's safe to say that we've all seen much worse.
Well, you know, it's one of those things. I feel it's very much like a CGI Tarkin. Some people couldn't stand it. When I saw the movie, I didn't know Peter Cushing was dead.
Yeah, you didn't notice at all.
I didn't mind the
I actually recently saw a really interesting video about the mocap for that and how that whole technology works, like how they made young Leia and everything. The dude who did Tarkin, he studied hours upon hours of Peter Cushing footage from numerous movies and even managed to mimic things like the square way that Peter Cushing held his mouth when he spoke. Like, the dude went full method on it. And even when, like, you remove the CGI, like, yeah, the dude's got black hair, he's considerably younger. You can almost see it.
Yeah.
Like, it's a powerful performance. And I feel a lot of the complaints about the effects in that movie, I feel, are unfounded. There were issues in Rogue One.
See, the thing,
Tarkin wasn't
the thing I didn't get was I heard people complain about the Tarkin one, but then I thought the Leia one was really good. I noticed it more in the Leia one than I did in the
Yeah,
Tarkin.
I noticed it more in Leia, too.
Oh, yeah,
Leia wasn't bad,
it looks
though.
like they put a mask on the actress's face almost CGI digitally.
Leia has that one weird part in the second while she's forming the smile, but once it gets to the smile, I feel it all settles in.
Yeah. It's
My
still pretty
issue
good.
was really, as the character turned, I could see the edge of where they CGI'd her.
No, I can.
There
I
was a difference there, and it was. At first, I thought that it was some sort of a flesh mask or something, but
Well, it's one of those things. I kind of wonder because, like, they
Digital
did the
CGI.
age regression stuff on Kurt Russell for Guardians 2. The guy who played Hank Pym, they did it for him.
Yeah.
Like, I
Michael
don't
Douglas, yeah.
know why they didn't just put Carrie Fisher out there.
Well, I think it's a matter of her appearance is probably too different compared to how she looked when she was younger.
Well, your ears and nose never stop growing.
Yeah, it's one thing to go from younger to older. It's much harder to go from older to younger.
I don't know. I just look at it because, like, I'm a big Kurt Russell fan. I love, like, all of his stuff from the 80s. Like, my all-time favorite movie is John Carpenter's The Thing.
Yeah.
Like, I've seen a lot of Kurt Russell. Kurt Russell's CGI'd young in Guardians 2. Like, yeah, it's not there very long, but that was really good.
Actually, I'm not 100% sure that was CGI. I think that might have been actual practical effects. I think I heard somewhere that no, to everybody's surprise, that was actual practical effects.
How did they cover his wrinkles? The furrows
I
in
could
his
be
face
wrong,
are deep
but-
enough to plant potatoes.
if you essentially clay cream them over and create
That
smooth
would explain why
surfaces
he looks
over.
like he drank a bottle of bronzer.
they probably slapped a bottle of bronzer on his face.
interesting thing while we're talking about the Leia thing. They actually had her appear in the new show Resistance as her older self, and they actually had her talk finally.
How's the voice actress do?
She was pretty good. And you could tell it was different, but it was pretty dang close. It wasn't anyone I've heard
Well,
of
correct me if
before.
I'm wrong, but Carrie Fisher, towards the end of her life, had a deviated septum, which is why she sounded so different.
That is part of
I'm not
it.
sure, but
Yeah, no,
I don't know if it was deviated septum, but I know that it was health issues that caused her voice to
I
change
wanna-
based on
as
what we
awful
knew her
as this is, and I'm not trying to speak ill of the dead, I want to say it was a holdover from her Coke days.
See, I
I'm not
always
sure.
assumed it was because of how many cigarettes she smoked. All those
Oh.
Benson and Hedges.
Okay, no, I didn't know that she was a heavy smoker.
Quite a heavy one.
I knew that she smoked in a lot of films.
She did commercials for Benson and Hedges in her youth because
I
that
didn't
was
know
her
that.
brand.
I did not fucking know that. Wow. Princess Leia sold cigarettes. Jesus
I
Christ.
was a
Just
bit
when
of
you
a
think you
Princess
can
Leia-
trust someone.
I was a bit of a Carrie Fisher fanboy in my youth. I did a
It's
lot
that bronze bikini, isn't it?
little bit.
You just want her to
Yeah.
pull it off.
No, he wanted to pull it off.
With my teeth.
Well played.
Well, let's be
I
honest.
think okay, if that thing's actually bronze, I think you're chipping a few.
Nah, the clasp is easy.
I'm just picturing him like gnawing at Carrie Fisher's back and her just going, what the hell are you doing back there?
Just use your imagination. It'll be
Being
better.
sexy?
Better
Stop
than a
it.
hut, right, baby?
But let's be honest.
Leave. Leave now.
Let's be honest. At some point in our childhoods, we all wanted to do that.
See, I didn't have that urge till adulthood, and I started seeing cosplayers in it. Like, as far as, like,
Teenage
noticing
young
sexual
adulthood.
content in film, I didn't pick up on that until, like, well after you would have think I would have.
Well, you always were a bit slow.
Hey!
What was it, Pier 51 that Capone dropped all those people off?
Oh,
Yeah, I'm sure I have the number wrong, but it was a pier that was known as Dead Man's Cove because of the number of people the Chicago mob threw off with lead boot or with concrete boots.
yeah.
Mobster days are fucked up and awesome to research.
That would actually be something I wouldn't mind talking about. You know, we could have a
Capone and
bit
the
of
Chicago
fun
mob.
because the mob history in this country is very much a story of two separate mobs. You've got the Italians, which most people are reasonably familiar with. The 80s kind of
And the Russians.
made sure. Actually, I was going to leave the Russians out of it. The Russians are a very modern development.
The Irish?
I thought the
Damn
Russians
straight.
were
Yeah,
throughout
Irish.
the 80s.
The Russians started showing up in the 80s. They didn't like actually have anything like.
Well,
you
true,
know,
you're
you know that
talking
stereotype of
classic
like shit
mob.
falling off a truck. Well, the Italians weren't doing that anymore, so that's the business they took up.
Okay, well, yes, when we get into the timeline of mob, you are right. If we're talking early 1900s, it's the Irish and the Italians.
I'm talking mob history. Like right now, I'd say
Later,
Russian mob is
you
like
got into,
the
Russian
realistic
is only in the
mob
last,
issue
like,
in this
50
country,
years
and
or
even
so.
then, it's not a huge issue.
Well, and the Russians have only really been present for the last 50 years or so. If we really
I mean,
go
you
back to
you
early
can make an
mob
argument
history,
for
that's 100
triad
years
presence
ago.
in California, but
I think the
They've
RICO
kinda always
cases kind of
been
killed
there,
it.
though.
Once they
There's
came out with the idea of the
always been
RICO
Asian.
laws, that really put a dent in the mob's ability to do
Mob
function in the
shit,
same way
yeah.
they did before. That and then just culturally, the
Well,
whole
we
loyalty
learned.
thing really started to degrade.
oh yeah,
The
no,
people started ratting each
oh
other.
god, what was it called? The Code of Silence, La
Yeah.
Cosa Nostra. No, that's not it.
What it came down to was we learned the things that the early gangs and mobs were exploiting were rather simple things that we could change. We didn't know those were holes. As soon as we knew there were holes, we got them plugged up, and the problem is kind of taking care of itself.
Well,
It's
you
also
know,
fair to
We
point out.
now know more.
It's also fair to point out that in the very earliest days of the mob, it was actually performing a critical social function within communities.
Oh,
It
definitely.
was doing
and it was
things that
much
police
more
forces
of a,
either at the time legally weren't capable of doing
Yeah.
because policing has taken a lot of different definitions in this country
Oh
over the
yeah.
years.
Well, and that was
and
the
we
thing.
we didn't get to like cops as we think of them today. Honestly, until like the late 60s, early 70s. Before that, it was a bit different of a job.
Oh yeah, early
yeah.
1900s, 19 teens, gangs
You
and
were
mobs
kind of more
and
of a
things like
security
that.
guard in those days. It was
It
a case
was.
of we care about here, here, and here. Deal with it.
yeah. And you know, one of the
Well,
things
because
from
at the
the
time, Sorry.
when the feds originally started investigating the mob, a lot of them didn't actually believe the mob was a thing. The idea of organized crime, they refused to believe that
Yeah, why
an
was criminals
organization on that
organized?
scale
Yeah,
didn't exist.
You
Was a
can't
myth.
hide an elephant with a tablecloth. Like
Yeah.
that type of reasoning.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And now it's been driven from my mind.
I'm
We're talking,
sorry.
It's
Sorry.
okay. We were talking about
The mob. And its
uh,
early history.
the very early history, and most of the reason that the mobs filled that void was because the police at the time were very much corrupted by money. The rich paid for policing. Therefore, the police paid more attention to the rich areas of town than the lesser. That's where the mobs really moved in and took hold, was in the downtrodden, in the poverty sections, where if you didn't ally yourself with the mob or the local gang or whatever, it wasn't their people that were going to hit you. It was just the random everybody else who was going to
Oh yeah,
hit
no.
you.
There was a point in time when
Yeah.
the mafia offering insurance was
Was
not a dark
honest.
thing. It's because that was the closest you were
Yeah.
going to get to honest
It
insurance.
started out honest. And
Well,
it
not
was
100%
because,
honest.
Well,
If you couldn't pay your insurance, you were still screwed.
yeah.
And it's because when you get down to it, from the very beginning, our police system has been corrupt in some sort or another because it's always been based by money.
Well,
All the way back to the beginning, they policed where they were paid to police.
well, in all fairness, that's how literally every industry starts. We only have schools because the rich didn't want to deal with their kids.
I thought schools were because of the religion. The religious decided that it was the only way to produce more intellectual.
Nope.
quote
The
unquote,
rich
and
did
it
not
was
want to
their
deal with their
reason of
children.
Teaching.
It's a little more.
It's the same reason we
historically
have summer
complicated than that.
vacation, basically.
It's a little more historically complicated.
No, summer
than that,
vacation
but
is
going back
because
centuries.
of the
that
planting
again,
schedule
topic
and the
topic for
harvest.
discussion. I
Yeah,
could go
it-
on and on and on
Okay,
about that.
education in America.
The reason we have a
America
summer
and a
break is because
fair
of the
portion of
harvest.
Europe.
Because the
Well,
children would be
like-
needed to work the farms and harvest, so they couldn't be at school. But anytime they weren't required for the farms, they were supposed to be learning in the.
Well, you also got to
class.
remember that education in America, colonial America, started right around the same time as the Enlightenment movement. So the idea of educating and learning and science and all that was actually on the uptick
Which is
when
actually
we were doing
a
that.
huge gap in
So-
most of our history classes and things we're taught at school. Is yes, we were told the Puritans came here. Then all of a sudden we're jumped forward to colonial times, and there's a gap there where shit happens.
Yeah, they really don't
Have
go
you
over.
heard of Mormons? I mean,
Dum 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 dum
That-
dum 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 dum.
and that's just one very small, when you get down to it, thing. But when you get down to it, there was a lot of time and a lot of history and a lot of things that happened from the point where we first get people colonizing America and when we have the 13 colonies era.
They do glance over that. a little bit.
Just
And
a
we-
quick note
we
on
completely
Mormons.
blast
Yeah,
by
I
it.
wasn't gonna say, but yeah, the Mormons, 1840, like 1840s, I think.
Yeah, they're
That's
fairly
well after the colonial
they're
period.
fairly late.
Yeah.
Just a quick note about Mormons. The second nicest thing that anyone's ever said to me was said by a Mormon.
Oh,
Oh,
that's
Nick,
right.
you're not bad enough to go to hell. You know, he leaves out the part that I'm not good enough to get into his special heaven, but, you know.
I didn't know they believed in multiples.
There's a special Mormon heaven.
The absolute worst thing ever said to me was said to me by a Mormon.
Oh,
Really?
You've told me the story.
Yes. So I lived in Utah for a couple of years and worked at a place that was literally a 20-minute walk from my apartment. So I didn't drive. Utah during the summer gets upwards of 100 degrees. Now, it's in the mountains. It is a dry heat, so it's not so bad. But so I'm walking home from work one day where I'm required to wear a long-sleeve button-up shirt. So I have the shirt off, tied around my waist. I'm walking home from work, and a brand new, still shiny SUV pulls up, screeches to a stop. Lady, very much well-to-do, and when you're in Salt Lake, that very much means Mormon. Well, she pulls up, and rolls down her window and, "Aw, honey, are you homeless? Here, let me do something about that." And hands me a wrapped up, half-eaten Burger King sandwich.
I remember the story now. Yeah.
First of all, the assumption that I was homeless just because I was walking down the street with my shirt off is, well, rather insulting. Second of all, if you're gonna be nice to someone, you don't give them a half-eaten sandwich. You hand them a couple of dollars, or, I don't know, give them a whole sandwich, not your garbage.
What about a three-quarters eaten sandwich? Is that any better?
No, like...
At what point is a sandwich not a sandwich?
Well, and my biggest problem with their entire religious belief system and everything is that it tends to produce people who are more concerned with appearing nice than being nice. Admittedly, this is taken from a very small percentage of the Mormon population. I have met Mormons who live here in Michigan. Actually, several of my parents' friends are Mormons who moved away from Utah because those wackos are crazy. These are people who believe in the Mormon faith, but they're not insane the way Utah Mormons are. They have a... Yes, I may not believe with their I may not agree with their belief system, but they're not crazy the way Utah Mormons are crazy. Utah Mormons attempt to...
So, for all those who are sticking into the late hours of the podcast, I think it's time we got some sleep.
Yeah. Sorry, I just kind of went on Mormon rant there.
Wait, we're dropping you a few miles out of town because that was quite a ride.
But yeah, I am not a fan of Mormons at all. And it's mostly because of the way I've been treated by those claiming to be Mormons. It has very... Yes, I think that it's absolutely ridiculous for them to believe the things they do. However...
Magic underwear.
I think it's ridiculous for Christians to believe the things
Magic
they
underwear.
do. I think it's
Special
ridiculous
magic
for
Mormon
Wiccans
underwear.
to believe the things they do. It's
part of the attire to get you into heaven.
For Satanists to believe the
Tell
things
me
they do.
more.
I'm
intrigued.
I rather think that it's ridiculous for atheists to feel the way they do. Like I just think the whole question of religion
apparently we've
is
gotten
just
back
ridiculous.
in that truck and
Yep, we're going again.
driving again.
I've hit fifth gear.
So Alan, I think this is where we tuck and roll and hitchhike back to town. We definitely picked the wrong dude to hitch a ride with.
yeah.
And this is where we end.
Bill, you coming?
Next time on Informed and Confused.
Batman, the world's most successful hostage taker.
The Cubans will love it because at that point we'll have to lift the embargo just so everybody can go to Disney World.
I saw a thing talking about moon Nazis being part of this.
Now,